Hi, everyone. In conversation with one and only Robert Spencer, loved by the right wingers all over the world. Hi, Robert.
Hello, my friend. It's good to see you.
Same here. Robert, Elon Musk, we have to talk
Yes.
about him. So, you tell me how this acquisition will affect the other platforms like Facebook, Insta, WhatsApp. What will be the outcome of the whole thing?
The first thing that will happen will be that they will try to crush Elon and Twitter. If he actually implements free speech on Twitter
Oh,
and only bans calls for violence and illegal activity and criminal activity and so on, then the European Union, for one, will stop Twitter from having any presence in Europe. The European Union has already warned him that it has to abide by their hate speech provisions. Now, hate speech is an entirely subjective concept.
yeah, true.
There is no definition of hate speech. Hate speech for the European Union is whatever threatens the power of the people who run the European Union. That's hate speech. And so they've told him he has to follow their rules or he's out. And
Oh,
it's going to be the same thing across the board. The social media giants, aside from Twitter now, are on record that they are opposed to the freedom of speech and they're determined not to allow it. And so they will do everything they can to shut him down.
okay. And Saudi still has some share in it, in Twitter?
Yes,
Which,
I believe so, but I've seen conflicting reports about that. Prince Al-Walid bin Talal actually fed the confusion. The Saudi billionaire who spent so very much money in American universities and elsewhere in the United States, he warned Musk that he opposed his acquisition. And then it was reported afterward that he had already sold his shares several years ago. So I don't know the extent of the Saudi
okay.
involvement now.
So messy, so
Yeah.
confusing. There's so much of secrecy. I don't know what happens behind the doors.
So
And do you think all those handles which were wrongly blocked, like President Trump, etc., even in India, all the right wingers' handles are blocked. Famous Bollywood actress Kangana Ranaut's, won't know who she is. Her account was blocked. Anybody who says anything against the cabal, their handles were suspended or blocked. So you think that will change? They'll come back?
some of them have already come back. I've seen my friend Bosch Falston, who was the winner of our Muhammad art exhibit and cartoon contest that was attacked by ISIS in Texas in 2015. He was banned several years ago. He's back. Mark Levin, the famous talk show host, is back. Tucker Carlson, who was banned last February, is back. On the other hand, Pamela Geller, who was the co-sponsor with me of that cartoon contest of Muhammad, is still suspended. And so it obviously, maybe we can't expect everything to change overnight, but it appears that what Elon Musk has said about the freedom of speech is not exactly everything that has happened already. And of course, as we noted previously, there'll be concerted efforts to head him off and prevent him. So we don't know whether he will prevail or if the foes of the freedom of speech will prevail. But right now, it seems like a trickle only, but people are returning.
You think that Twitter has unblocked them, or they're coming on, or they're again coming back on their own?
It's unclear. Tucker was very famously banned, Tucker Carlson, and yet he was there, so he must have been unblocked.
Okay.
But the Levin, I don't know if he just left and stopped tweeting. Bosch was banned, but he wasn't able to get his old account. He started a new one, but nobody stopped him from starting a new one. And the ban notice says if you try to start a new account, it will be deleted immediately. So that has not happened in his case. So that's a good sign.
And I believe Elon Musk has put certain restrictions on the people who were working in Twitter, with Twitter, and who were handling Twitter?
Yes. Apparently, he has told them that there's going to be accountability, openness in regard to the algorithms. And so one would hope that that means that wasn't actually the statement I was hoping for. That the algorithms will be public is fine, but the algorithms should be changed. And he didn't actually say that he was going to do that. So does that mean that we're only going to get a public notice that people whose opinions are disliked by the elites will be banned? Well, we already knew that.
So what is America thinking? What are Americans thinking? What is Trump thinking?
Trump has already announced he's not going to go back to Twitter. And that's understandable since he started Truth Social. But Truth Social has not exactly caught fire. It had a long waiting list. I signed up when it was first announced and waited weeks and weeks. And then finally they said, okay, you were number 200,000. You can finally come in. And to go there, it doesn't seem as if it's a huge going concern at this point. But obviously Trump, if he's really going to follow through with it, then he's not going to be on Twitter. The American people, I believe I saw a poll yesterday saying that most people agreed that Twitter was very unfavorable to people who dissented from what the left wants. And so they were glad to see that being corrected. But here again, how much Elon Musk will actually be allowed to change it is still an open question.
See, left survives by silencing and gagging the opponents. That's how they survive.
Yes.
So you think this? Yeah, but do you think Twitter is still going to help them? The cabal is still going to be able to rule it, or there will be some balancing, and both the wings, the left and the right wings, they'll both be given a chance. Even the centrists, they'll be given a chance too.
Ideally, everyone will be given a chance. The question is whether a Twitter that allows for the freedom of speech will be given a chance by the elites. Apple could ban from the Apple Store like they did with Gab. It could even be denied an IP address, theoretically. There are all manner of things that the left can do to destroy it if it becomes too powerful a force. So I suppose now we will see if they really do have the power to do that, or if independent voices can succeed.
So now I was on Twitter and I saw this hashtag trending, that leaving Twitter. It's trending on Twitter. Are they really going to leave, or is this a pass?
I think it's just bad, certainly, yes. But some people will leave, and then they will find that there really isn't any other place where the mass communication that Twitter offers is possible. I was actually thinking myself when Trump was banned that that was an egregious violation of the freedom of speech. He was still the president of the United States. It was incredibly massive overreach by the leftist elites to try to silence the president of the United States. And I thought that Twitter could collapse, but nobody else left. I was actually hoping everybody was going to leave at that point, and I left myself for a viable. And I suspect the left will do the same thing now. If people leave, they'll see it doesn't work as well anywhere else.
But the moment this acquisition was done, I saw all the Republicans coming out of the holes. You know, I saw lots of them, and they were sounding so happy, elated, totally.
Well, it's rare to have victories on our side. Yeah, the victories are on the other side.
Yeah, and the thing is, America stands for, it's an epitome of freedom of speech and thought. The Statue of Liberty is there.
Up to now. But up until recently. I mean, these are extraordinary times. You know, yes, America ostensibly stands for those things, but you have a former president of the United States, Barack Obama, and a former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, both recently coming out against the freedom of speech and calling for more government controls to clamp down on dissenting opinions on Twitter, and not just Twitter, on all of them. It makes me wonder if they knew that Musk was going to take over Twitter and they're trying to take away his victory by asserting their hegemony all the more fiercely.
You think there is Trump's hand is there somewhere? It's because of Trump also this happened? Elon Musk, is Trump also involved somewhere?
Well, I don't know that Trump had I don't think Trump had any involvement in Elon Musk buying Twitter. It's just a good fortune for the whole world that we have the richest man in the world being someone who understands the importance of the freedom of speech. Elon Musk is no friend of Trump. As a matter of fact, he was very insulting to him while he was president and responded very ungraciously to a tweet from President Trump congratulating him on the success of his space operations. And so I don't think that they have any contact, as far as I know, anyway. Elon Musk is no right-winger, no conservative. But the freedom of speech is the foundation of any free society. If you don't have the freedom of speech, you do not have a free society. And so it's extraordinary that this person has come around to this point of view and is willing to fight for it and to pay for it. And we can all be grateful for that. We'll see how far he's able to get.
Elon Musk is in favor of China. So you think it suits the Biden administration?
The Biden administration is very much in favor of China. They have never shown any interest in trying to end China's growing economic power or trying to compete with China internationally. It's even very possible, if not likely, that Taiwan will be occupied by the People's Republic during the administration of Joe Biden, because they see that Biden is weak, that he's suffering from dementia, that he is presiding over a government that does not have any willingness to stand up for anything, it seems as if, except for the left's pet causes. So this is China's moment. And so they're no doubt going to take advantage of it as much as they can.
I've noticed there's a certain cabal, there's a certain set of people who are talking about Elon Musk's education background. So what is it? Like they're saying he's not even qualified to run Twitter. You saw that?
Some people are saying all he has is a master's degree. How can he run this? You know, that's elitism at its finest.
Yeah, totally.
And Elon Musk has actually addressed this in the past. I saw one time he said, "I don't have a PhD. The people who have PhDs are working for me." And I thought that's a very neat encapsulation of the fact that having a lot of degrees doesn't necessarily mean that you have the ability, well, for one thing, to make fantastic amounts of money that Elon Musk obviously knows very well.
But
talent in one field doesn't equal talent in another. That's all.
But that's how leftist liberals, that's how they attack. They always attack like this. They like to put you down, they'll gag you, they'll silence you. This is their way of working. And they've succeeded in the past. Let's see now what happens. So now
that's why they
sorry?
Oh, sorry. Just going to say that's why they get along so well with the jihadis, because the jihadis work the same way.
Same way, huh?
They love to.
They've joined hands with jihad. They have joined hands with jihad. Must be getting paid really well to return this favor to them. Now let's talk about India. It's a topic which I did message you. It's very close to my heart and it upsets me. There's anger in me regarding this. Like, I have written a few points also. Like, when you observe the Western press, they have, they've attacked India a lot in a very unjustified way, and which are related to like human rights, minorities' rights, deprived population, and amplifying crime against women, which only happens in India according to them. The way they're doing well. They will never talk about any Islamic country, especially they never talk about Saudi or Pakistan, Turkey. They'll never talk about this, how women are being treated there. And I have noticed one thing: the statistically, it can't be proven. You can't prove it that all this is happening in India only and not in America or not in XYZ countries. So it doesn't stand the case. Then why are they attacking India?
Oh, they're probably bought. We know that the media has sold favorable coverage in the past. And for example, there were powerful forces a few years ago that were revealed to have paid CNN and the others for favorable coverage of Obama's nuclear deal with Iran. And if they can pay for that, they can pay for other things. You have Al Walid bin Talal, who I mentioned earlier, the very famous Saudi billionaire, and he spent tens of millions of dollars, probably hundreds of millions, to place centers in American universities where Islam is studied, where jihad is whitewashed and an apologetic, partial, misleading view of Islam is propagated. And the targets of jihad in the world today, Israel, India, all the rest of them, they get very unfavorable coverage in these places. And so I think that that's very likely what's happening, that the establishment media is a propaganda arm for the left, and the left is in line with the global jihad. The global jihad shares the same authoritarian bent with the left, so they're ideologically hospitable to the haters of India to start with. And then if they get paid, all the better as far as they're concerned.
Robert, it's my research, I've done some research, that how much do you think that the people who influence the narrative are responsible for this anti-India agenda? Like, for example, Ilhan Omar. She went to Pakistan, occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and she got her pictures clicked. It was like in the face, as if she was challenging, and she was showing her support. And I don't know what point she was trying to prove to India. Though America did clarify certain things, but still we don't trust and we don't believe that. So, but does she know the map of India, that she went there and she's talking about it? Does she know about the UN resolution of Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which Pakistan has failed to comply? Does she know it's illegally occupied by Pakistan? Does she know about the Kabali attack, where thousands of Hindus and Sikhs were massacred, and it was Indian Army who rescued the people? Does she know Article 370 was not a permanent arrangement? Does she know how the demography of Pakistan occupied JNK was changed by cleansing and settling Punjabi ex-servicemen of Pakistan? How they changed the whole demography? Does she know 35A deprived women of JNK the right to property? It was the present PM, yes, the present PM, Mr. Modi, who has given these rights back to those women. She comes across as the representative of the deprived society of Pakistan. Then why she doesn't talk about the Baloch, the Hindus who are being killed, brutally killed, Hindu girls are being kidnapped, they've been converted? Why is she so selective? And why America didn't stop her from doing what she did?
Well, in the first place, I of course don't know what Ilhan Omar knows and doesn't know. She doesn't return my calls. She doesn't answer my emails. I just don't hear from her. But in all seriousness, however, it's very clear the answer to your question, and that is, if Ilhan Omar knows those things, she doesn't care. And she's so selective because she has the typical outlook of an Islamic supremacist who sees everything through the prism of the spread of Islam, what's good for Islam, and the supposed victimization of Islam. So she's not interested in hearing about how Hindus were subjected to vicious, violent, brutal treatment in Jammu and Kashmir. She has no interest in any of that. She has no interest in who owns the land legally. She's only interested in the perspective of the global Islamic Ummah, the community worldwide. And that's all essentially the same line that Pakistan takes. Probably she doesn't know anything about it. Probably she only knows what Imran Khan told her. And Imran Khan told her that this is the land that belongs to Muslims, because according to Islamic law, any land that was ruled at one point by Muslims belongs to Muslims forever. And so it's on that basis that the jihad against Israel is pursued. It's on that basis that jihad groups say they want Spain back. And it's the same thing in Kashmir, that this is the land in which they have the responsibility before Allah, as specified in the Quran, drive them out from where they drove you out. And even if it's mythological that they were driven out, it's still the basis for the claim that they need to be there. And that's all she knows and all she cares to know. And everything else, all the grievances that she cites and so on, it's all manufactured in order to justify the position that this land belongs to Islam. But the position itself, it's based on Islamic teaching.
But why did Biden administration allowed her to travel to Pakistan, especially to a sensitive area like Pakistan occupied J&K?
They probably see eye to eye with her. The Biden administration is full of people who are sympathetic to the point of view of Imran Khan and the point of view of Pakistan. The United States in general, the relationship with Pakistan is bizarre, and it doesn't make any sense, really, even in terms of American national interest. It only makes sense if you understand that there are people in the US government who actually support the global Islamic jihad. And so they're happy to give billions of dollars to Pakistan, even though they know that a lot of that money is going to Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and so on.
But America does want friendly relations with India. They do want that. They need India. They need India too.
Trump wanted it more than Biden does. The Republicans want it more than the Democrats. And so the Democrats have all the power right now. Pakistan is in the ascendancy in Washington. India, not so much.
Thank you so much, Robert. And cheers to Elon Musk. I hope he lets us talk now, say what we want to say, and write what we want to write, tweet what we want to tweet. I hope he allows us to do that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Robert. See you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.